Hey everybody, this is Chris with Overclockers Club. I've got a cool new 5-in-1 desktop charging station from BASEUS. Okay, so let's take a look at the box and see what all we have going on here. So this is a 5-in-1 charging unit. Charges up to 5 devices at one time. 15 watts of wireless fast charging. That's what this piece here is for. Retractable USB-C cable right there. 99% intelligent power allocation with digital display. Right over here is the little display. So far everything looks pretty good. Let's see what's going on the side here. So we've got 3 USB-C ports, 1 USB-A. Looks like your wireless charging section there can be adjusted so you can rotate it up to 60 degrees, and it looks like it also kind of slides up and down there. Yeah, vertical and horizontal adjustment. Real-time display of charging status. That's really nice. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. Built-in 0.8 meter retractable cable. Let's look at the other side here real quick. Okay, so we've got the specifications. And I'll post a picture there that you can kind of zoom in and check that out for more detail. Of course, all this information is available on the BASEUS website. Compatibility, this is important here. I'm currently using an iPhone 12, so I'm within the window of supported devices. Looks like you've got tablets, iPads, iPad Air, iPad Pro, laptops, and AirPods, smartwatches, things like that. So we'll just sort of have to play around with it. On the back here, yeah, it shows all kinds of stuff plugged in. What else? We've got eliminate desktop clutter, which is good. Charge up to 5 devices, flexible and portable. So not much going on down here. I think we can go ahead and get the box open. Okay, so everything is out of the box. It has a really nice quick start guide. I haven't seen one so nice for such a relatively simple product in quite a while. They really did a nice job here. Very thorough, very comprehensive, stepping you through, clearly calling out all of the components. There's the display. And it talks about, and of course it's in several languages, but it sort of shows you how everything functions. There's the complete specifications, and on the back I think this is, yeah, safety tips, safety instructions. Important to go through all of that. So here's the main power cord, and let's see, I'll peel off the protective covers here. And this is the display here on this side. There's actually a little tab there if I can get my fingernail under it. There we go. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. Yep. There you can see the display a little more clearly, but there's a lot of glare here, so it's a little hard to see. But I think once we get it fired up, okay, so there's the front. You can see we've got the 2 USB-C ports plus this cable here that's retractable. You can see it. Actually, it locks. So when you pull out so far and you let go, it has a detent in there. And then when you pull up a little and let go, and what's kind of cool here, there's a little magnet inside that sort of holds the end of the cable there, so it's not flopping around all over the place. And then we've got our other USB port there. Here's your fast charging. You can see it rotates up. There's the port for plugging in the power. And then it also slides up and down a little bit, which you may or may not need to take advantage of depending on your phone. 140 watts. The bottom has some rubber feet there. And there is your, let's see, it says Sleep mode, screen display switching. So it looks like it toggles some of the functions on the screen. All right, let's get it plugged in. Okay, so as soon as I plug the power in, the display powers up also. Now this is not a touch screen, so it is simply a display so you can monitor what's going on. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and push the little button on the side here, see what happens. Okay, so if I can get this positioned so we don't have the glare, you can see it's monitoring each position that you can charge. So I'll get a few things plugged in here in a little bit and we can sort of see what goes on. The other thing I'll be curious to see is how well it charges my iPhone here. With the thick case I've got on it, an OtterBox, other wireless chargers that I've tried to use don't really like the thickness of this case. So we'll see if this does any better. Okay, so I have two devices plugged in, a cell phone that is about 67%. This is the charging base for my Fifine wireless microphone. Obviously I'm using the microphones and the little receiver base there, but I can charge the base up. The base has a battery in it, and then unplug it and then charge the microphones offline. But I've got those two devices plugged in, and you can see the power usage there between the two ports and the voltage and the amperage, which is nice to see the current draw there too. And then I push the little button and that is the entire usage for the whole system. So the more devices I have plugged in, of course, the wattage, the usage there will go higher. Now the total wattage that this can deliver is 140 watts, so I'm well below the limit there on these devices. And another thing to point out is that this device is not a standalone charging station that you charge it up and you can unplug it and take it like on a camping trip, for example. It's not a power supply or power source in that regard. To use it, you have to have it plugged into 120 volt house current. So when I first saw it, I thought, oh, because it has some weight to it, it almost feels like it has a battery in it, but it does not. It is meant to be used as a charging station when it's plugged in, because as soon as I unplug it here, as you can see, it will completely shut down, and then nothing is being charged, which is fine, but you just need to know that going into it, that it is not a battery-powered unit. So really the biggest challenge so far has been finding enough devices that draw enough power to really see what I can do. I'm not sure I can even stress this thing out to the max. I'll have to see if I can get creative. This is an infrared camera, but it was actually pretty well charged, so it's not drawing much right now. I guess one of the good things about this being plugged in is that you get full power all the time. If this was a battery unit like I initially suspected it was, then eventually your power would start to drop as the internal battery would be draining. But since we don't have an internal battery, we're on regular current, you will always get 100% of the available power. Now, one of the problems I have with my OtterBox on my iPhone here, it's a very protective case, but it's so thick that it does not work well or at all with other wireless chargers. But when I put it on this one, and you do have to position it, get it right in the sweet spot, but once you do, it starts charging. Now this one isn't drawing that much power because it's almost completely full. But when it's low, it'll pull 5, 6, maybe 7 watts. Looks like it's also handy for charging cameras. So this is an outdoor Wi-Fi camera. It uses a solar panel to charge it, but it became disconnected and ran the battery down. So I'm going to see how long it takes to bring the battery back up to full charge. Another nice way to use the device is to connect it to my charging station for my little rechargeable batteries. I've got it fully packed with batteries that are in various states of charge. And the battery station is pulling about 7 watts, 1.5 amps. And then the camera now is pulling about 8 watts. It's connected to this port here. Earlier it was stuck at about 2% charge. Since it was so low, it took a while to get over that initial hump, and now it's about 18% charged, and it's pulling about between 6 and 8 watts now. Okay, so I know earlier I mentioned that the hardest part was finding devices to plug into this that could really challenge it, that could really max out the upper limit of 140 watts. So far I've only had things that pulled maybe 7 or 8 watts, but I'm going to be using 2 of my laptops here. These are both ZBooks. This is a ZBook Fury G11, and I've got a earlier version, a G8. And they both pull like 200, 230 watts, somewhere out in there off the power supply. So they are very power hungry. So in order to plug them in, I went ahead and purchased a couple of these BASEUS USB-C to USB-C cables. And they're like $10 on Amazon for a 2-pack. Which I think is pretty reasonable because they have a very thick braided outer cover. They've got the nice molded connectors here. They look to be pretty robust, so I'll be using these to connect the 2 computers to the charging station. Okay, so the Z11 is plugged in, and you can see we're pulling anywhere from 70 to 90 watts, 20 volts, 4.5 amps. Now I will plug the second computer in. And let's see what happens here. My guess is we're going to overload it. Get that plugged in. All right, so both of them are plugged in, and you can see that it is balancing the load there between the 2 computers. It is making sure that one isn't drawing all of the power. It is balancing it quite nicely. But realistically, you are probably not going to be trying to feed 2 monster computers, 2 monster laptops like that when they have a power draw that is considerably higher than this is rated. It looks like it will charge them, but it'll be at a fairly slow rate compared to the normal power supplies that you would use with these. But again, I was just trying to see what would happen if I plugged both in at the same time. And now I have both laptops powered down, so we are only charging the batteries on the laptop, so there's no load from the computers running on there. I've got my little wireless microphone base charging, and then this other phone. So I have 4 devices. You can see it's keeping up there. If we go to the main screen here. So there's the total wattage. This little symbol here is for your surge protection. This one is for overload, which I have not seen either one of those lit up, which is good. And if we go back to the little startup guide here, you can see each port, what the limitations are by voltage. So how many amps can be supplied at each different voltage that it is trying to push through to whatever device you've got plugged in. So you can see the limitations there. When we go up to 20 volts, you max out at 5 amps. Same thing on the first 2 ports, which is what we were doing with these 2 laptops. They were pulling 20 volts, and again, we could not go any higher than 5 amps due to the system design, and that's fine. And I went ahead and plugged in the retractable cable. Now this one's rated at a maximum of 100 watts. So I've got it plugged into my computer here, my laptop, which is powered down, so it's just topping off the battery. And I've seen it bounce around between 66 and 72 watts. Okay, so it looks like you can plug some monster laptops into it, but I don't know that I would do that on any kind of a regular basis because this does only go up to 140 watts total. And the little wireless charger here has the kick that it needs to go through the OtterBox on my iPhone, and this is the only wireless charger that I've seen that can actually do that. But overall, it does exactly what it is supposed to. Now, when we look at pricing here on Amazon, it is currently $149, and there's a $30 coupon right off the bat. So that makes this a pretty good deal. So if you need a little desktop charger the BASEUS NOMOS is one you should check out. I would give this the Overclockers Club Gold Award. So this is Chris with Overclockers Club. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.